Detroit Lions have had a promising start to the 2024 season, but the recent two-game suspension of wide receiver Jameson Williams could throw a wrench in their plans. After a gambling suspension in 2023, Williams finds himself sidelined again, this time due to violating the league's performance-enhancing drug policy. Welcome to American Baller, where we focus on all things NFL. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos. Let's examine how this impacts the Lions and Williams and unpack what performance enhancers mean in the NFL and explore his journey from college standout to NFL hopeful whose career now faces mounting scrutiny. Williams was suspended for violating the NFL's Performance-Enhancing Substance (PES) policy, which is also colloquially known as the NFL's Performance-Enhancing Drug (PED) policy. The NFL and NFLPA jointly developed the policy. According to a 2023 version of the document, it's designed to prohibit and prevent the use of anabolic/androgenic steroids, including exogenous testosterone, stimulants, human or animal growth hormones, whether natural or synthetic, and related or similar substances. The immediate impact on the Lions. Jameson Williams is not just any wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. He's supposed to be one of the key cogs in their offensive machine. The Lions were looking to build on their strong 2023 season, and with a dynamic quarterback like Jared Goff leading the charge, Williams was expected to be an essential weapon. However, with this two-game suspension, Williams will now miss crucial matchups against teams that the Lions can't afford to take lightly. For the team, it's not just about losing Williams for 2 games, it's about the lack of consistency in their receiving core. Last year, Williams missed 6 games due to his gambling suspension, and now before his 2024 campaign can truly take off, he's sidelined once again. The Lions need dependable targets for Goff, and Williams' repeated absences create an offensive gap that the entire team will feel. It may also force the coaching staff to reshuffle their plans and rely more on their run game or tight ends, which puts additional pressure on Goff and others to deliver in critical moments. The bigger picture is how this impacts the Lions' playoff hopes. In a highly competitive NFC North division, even missing a player like Williams for 2 games could be costly. Those games matter, and with Williams out, opposing defenses can breathe a little easier. The Lions must rely on Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond, and tight end Sam Laporta to pick up the slack. The suspension's toll on Williams. For Williams, this suspension couldn't have come at a worse time. After serving a 6-game suspension for violating the NFL's gambling policy in 2023, this latest setback adds to a troubling trend of off-field issues. What's more concerning is the effect this may have on his career trajectory and personal reputation. Suspensions in the NFL have a lasting impact on a player's image. The league doesn't take lightly to repeated offenses, and Williams' situation raises questions about his focus and discipline. It's not just about missing 2 games, it's about the message it sends to the coaching staff, his teammates, and even potential sponsors. While he's still a young player with plenty of potential, repeated suspensions could mark him as a player who's unreliable and prone to making poor decisions. On a personal level, missing games means fewer opportunities to prove his worth. Williams is a young, talented receiver who's still trying to establish himself as one of the premier pass catchers in the league. Time spent on the sidelines means lost reps, which is especially significant for a player who missed most of his rookie year due to injury. Performance enhancers in the NFL. What's the deal? When we talk about performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs, in the NFL, we're looking at substances that boost a player's abilities, whether that's increasing muscle mass, speeding up recovery, or improving stamina. The NFL has strict policies regarding these substances, and any violation leads to automatic suspensions. But what exactly are these enhancers, and how do they affect players? The most commonly used PEDs in the NFL include anabolic steroids, human growth hormone, HGH, and stimulants. Anabolic steroids help players build muscle mass and strength more quickly, giving them an edge in high-contact situations. HGH, on the other hand, speeds up recovery time from injuries, allowing players to get back on the field faster. Stimulants can improve focus, energy levels, and overall stamina during games and practices. While these substances may provide short-term advantages, the long-term consequences both for a player's health and career can be severe. The NFL takes a hard stance against these substances to ensure fair competition and player safety. A violation not only leads to suspensions, but also tarnishes the athlete's credibility. For someone like Williams, who's trying to shake off previous issues, like the gambling suspension, this latest infraction only adds to his growing list of troubles. The NFL has had its fair share of controversy when it comes to players getting suspended for performance-enhancing drugs, PEDs. While these suspensions can significantly impact a player's reputation, they also send a strong message about the league's commitment to maintaining fairness and competition. Here are 6 players who have gotten suspensions for taking PEDs. DeAndre Hopkins. One of the most high-profile suspensions in recent times was DeAndre Hopkins, star wide receiver who was handed a 6-game suspension at the start of the 2022 season. Hopkins, a 5-time Pro Bowler, was shocked by the suspension, maintaining his innocence and confusion over how the banned substance entered his system. Regardless, his absence was felt by his team, the Arizona Cardinals, who struggled to fill the void during his suspension. Will Fuller V. Will Fuller V, a speedy wide receiver, had a breakout year in 2020 but couldn't finish the season on a high note. Fuller was suspended for 6 games for using PEDs, missing the final game of the 2020 season and carrying the suspension into 2021. Fuller acknowledged his mistake, explaining that he was given the banned substance by a medical professional he trusted. Rashard Robinson. Former San Francisco 49ers cornerback Rashard Robinson was suspended for 4 games in 2020 after testing positive for a PED. This wasn't his first run-in with the league's policy, having been previously suspended for a substance abuse violation. Robinson's career has been turbulent, and the PED violation didn't help stabilize his path. Julian Edelman. Though now retired, Patriots legend Julian Edelman made headlines in 2018 when he was suspended for 4 games after testing positive for a banned substance. Coming off an ACL injury the previous year, Edelman's case sparked debates about the use of PEDs for recovery purposes, though he took full responsibility for his actions. Robert Quinn. Pass rusher Robert Quinn faced a 2-game suspension in 2019 for violating the league's PED policy. Though Quinn denied any intentional wrongdoing, explaining that the positive test was the result of medication prescribed for a medical condition, the suspension still had an impact on his availability for the Dallas Cowboys at the time. This shows that suspensions are definitely not personal, so let's take a look at Williams' season so far. Despite his off-field challenges, Jameson Williams has shown flashes of brilliance on the field. His 2024 season, though young, has already displayed his potential as a game-breaking receiver. Through the early part of the season, Williams has recorded 17 receptions for 365 yards and 3 touchdowns. That may not sound groundbreaking, but considering the Lions' balanced offense, Williams has found ways to contribute significantly. His speed and ability to stretch the field keep defenses honest, opening up opportunities for other players as well. Williams' yards per catch average is a notable highlight, sitting at 17.5 yards per reception. He's a deep threat receiver who can turn any catch into a potential touchdown. Losing him for 2 games will deprive the Lions of that big playability, which has been a key part of their offensive strategy. The gambling suspension of 2023. An entirely different kind of controversy marred Williams' 2023 season. In April of that year, he was suspended for 6 games due to violations of the NFL's gambling policy. The incident involved placing bets on non-NFL games from an NFL facility, which the league strictly prohibits. Though Williams didn't bet on NFL games, the infraction still carried a significant penalty. This led to him missing the first chunk of the season and ultimately affected his rhythm and development as a player. When Williams returned from the suspension, he wasn't able to make the immediate impact many hoped for. He played in 10 games and posted 282 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Those numbers, while not awful, fell short of expectations for a player of his caliber. Williams' explosiveness was evident in some moments, but inconsistency plagued his season. A look back at his 2022 season. The 2022 season was Williams' rookie year in the NFL, but it was a year largely spent on the sidelines due to recovery from an ACL injury sustained during his college days. He was drafted in the first round of the 2022 NFL Draft by the Lions, but his debut was delayed as he worked to get back to full health. He managed to appear in just 6 games, recording 1 reception for 41 yards and a single touchdown. While those stats are hardly what you'd expect from a first-round pick, Williams' 41-yard touchdown catch showed a glimpse of the elite speed and game-changing potential that made him such a coveted prospect. Williams' college days, the rise of a star. Before the NFL, Jameson Williams was a star at the University of Alabama. In 2021, he had a breakout season, racking up 79 receptions for 1,572 yards and 15 touchdowns. Williams was one of the most explosive receivers in college football, routinely burning defenses with his speed and route running ability. His performances earned him All-American honors and made him one of the top receiver prospects heading into the 2022 NFL Draft. However, Williams' college career wasn't without its challenges. In the national championship game against Georgia, he tore his ACL, which dampened his draft stock. Despite the injury, the Lions believed in his talent and took a chance by selecting him 12th overall in the 2022 draft. What's next for Williams? Jameson Williams' NFL journey has been full of ups and downs, from his injury-plagued rookie season to his gambling suspension in 2023, and now his 2-game PED suspension. Williams has faced more than his fair share of adversity. The Lions are hoping that this will be the last of his off-field troubles, and Williams must focus on making an impact once he returns. For now, Williams needs to stay focused, serve his suspension, and make sure he comes back ready to contribute. The Lions are counting on him, and the clock is ticking on his opportunity to prove that he can be a consistent, reliable player in the NFL. If he can put the off-field issues behind him, there's still time for Williams to turn things around and live up to the immense potential he showed in college. So there you have it. Jameson Williams faces another suspension, and it's a blow to both him and the Detroit Lions. With his off-field issues piling up, the pressure is on for him to bounce back and show that he can be the game-changing player everyone expected. The Lions will have to adjust, and fans are left wondering if this is just another bump in the road or a sign of bigger issues to come. What do you think? Can Williams turn it around, or will this suspension define his career? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you for tuning in to American Baller. Don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell for future videos.